Welcome to Fairly Differences 2.0. I am your host, Dread Empath, and with me, as always,
Solid blue sister who made a mistake. But anyway, let's go on.
okay. So today, folks, we were supposed to be talking about words that don't exist, but that's another show. Today, we're going to be talking about Agenda 2025 and how it is set to destroy
Project
democracy.
Project
Project,
2025.
project,
Project 2025.
excuse me. Yes, Project 2025. It is a far right agenda by conservatives and Republicans that could destroy the very fabric of democracy that we've come to depend on. How are you, Solid?
I am good. I am good. And again, we were supposed to do our fun show today, but this is too important a topic to
To pass up.
to pass up. I mean, we are talking about the right's final solution here in America. And you can take that however you choose to take it, whatever, but it is their plan, their final solution to woke, to the left, to LGBTQ, to people of color.
Legal immigration, not
You
illegal.
know, just
Everything.
to anyone. So basically the way I see it, and I know I'm gonna get pushed back on this.
I'm listening.
This is so America, the final solution, to have a white America. And if they were able to pull this off, probably within 10 years at best, we would see concentration camps, and people who would be in those concentration camps would look like me.
That look like me.
So
Now, Solid, why don't you tell people in the simple terms what exactly is Project 2025?
Project 2025 is again where the Heritage Foundation, if you're not familiar with it, is a far right group who is supposed to be religious, supposed to be Christian, and they want to rid America of the left's wokes, the what they consider the indoctrination of the left. They want to bring Christianity back into the country. They want everyone to believe in one God, and it has to be their God. They don't believe in transgender rights. We're gonna talk about that on another show. They don't believe in transgender rights or LGBTQ. They don't believe that certain things should be taught in school, like history, Black history. I mean, basically, they want to rewrite everything in America where it fits their agenda, and it sounds like something that happened way back when during World War II.
And just so everyone knows, this is not just about LGBT. This is not just about Black people. This is about, because under Project 2025, they would restrict adoption for non-heterosexual couples. They would restrict rights for single parents because they believe that you should be married when you conceive, when you have children. If you are Jewish, they would demand that this would no longer be a democracy. It would be a theocracy. It would be a authoritarian, a dictatorship. Now, we know that on this show, Trump is not our favorite person, and he's not smart enough to come up with all of this. But he is the mouthpiece. And how many people have followed him into the abyss? Our government is collapsing.
Excuse me. Too many people have followed him, and the sad part is that they don't even know what they're doing. They know not what they do, or maybe they do. But all these people who complain about the left, you guys, if it weren't for the left and some of the programs that the left has, like Medicare, Medicaid, Meals on Wheels, a lot of these things that you complain about that mostly red states take advantage of. I know someone who, Republican to the core, will talk about, one of the first things that this person will say is those fucking Democrats. But guess what? They now need Medicaid and Medicare because they need a medical procedure.
Right.
So apparently those fucking Democrats only come in handy when you need them. So all these programs, and even with the Affordable Care Act, which conservatives call Obamacare, there are a lot of people in red states that have taken advantage of it who would not have had the medical attention that they needed if it weren't for things like the Affordable Care Act. Now,
absolutely,
the right has been talking about getting rid of it for years, since 2011 when it passed. But they haven't. And if they did, they would really impact a lot of white conservatives, mainly again in the South, who were not able to go to the dentist, were not able to just go to get a physical every year. I mean, seriously. But these are the things that they will do under Project 2025. And it's sickening, and it's sad, and it's pathetic. But you guys go and vote. And I'm not even going to talk about the transgender and the history in schools and, being able to get pregnant and stuff like that. I'm talking about just your basic right just to walk down the damn street. I'm talking about being able to go into a library and check out a book. You're not going to be able to do that because they have already taken books and what have you off the shelf. So let's just talk about basic things. Let's talk about just basic things that you're going to be able to do. Are we going to be going around with things on our arms to identify us as a certain group? Are we going to have tattoos on our wrist? Now, people say, oh, Solid, you're really not, oh, come on. But you know what? Way back in when World War II started, they said the same thing. Oh, that's not going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
Right. No. Nope.
And I even said that when they got rid of Roe versus Wade, whether you believe in abortion or not, I said that it's going to be a domino effect, and they're going to start doing more and more stuff. And that's exactly what has happened. So it's not just your ability to conceive and whether you can go get birth control or whatever. It's just your right as a human being. All those countries that we want to talk about and call shithole places, and this place is that, and oh my God, they do this over there, and their women have to wear this. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Solid, I'm glad that you brought up Roe v. Wade, because under Project 2025, that's already in the making. You see, whether you agree or disagree with abortion, that is your prerogative, that is your opinion. But we saw the snowball effect of what happens when you start taking away the rights of one group of people. What happened? They said, okay, you can't have an abortion after 6 weeks. It's punishable. It's a criminal offense to the point where women are traveling 500, 600, 700 miles to another state to get an abortion, because we're talking about Texas. If you've ever been to Texas, it's a very, very big state. It's a big state. to the point where women, their lives have to be in danger. They have to be on the brink of death to get an abortion. Everybody felt like, oh, well, that's okay. But then it trickled down to Alabama. And what happened? IVF, women who want children, women who are struggling to have children. Oh, well, you can't freeze embryos anymore. What else happened with Roe v. Wade? I bet you guys don't understand that with the overturning of Roe v. Wade, that violates your right to privacy. The HIPAA law, that violates that. Just think, any women out there that want to vote for Trump, think about your right as a woman to maintain your privacy. If you've had children, if you've had to have a cesarean, even if you've had the unfortunate mishap of going number 2 while you were in labor, would you want anybody to know that? Or would you want someone digging into your medical records to find out what happened? Under Project 2025, these things are going to happen. You think that, oh, I'm a Christian, so I have a right to tell someone not to have an abortion. You have the right to that opinion. But do understand, while you're watching someone else's rights get taken away, just sit back and wait, because your rights are next.
Well, let's go ahead and I'm going to do something, and I might knock Dread off, but hopefully I won't knock her off where she will not come back. But hold on, let's see if I can do this. And
I wish.
Okay.
I wish.
Okay. You were here. You were still here. Let's check out a video.
All right.
Sometime now, we've been hearing about the Conservative Heritage Foundation's radical plan to reshape the U.S. government and inject it with deeply held ideologies, including Christian nationalism, the next time a conservative wins the presidency. The connection between Project 2025's vision of a Christian autocracy and the likely Republican nominee, Donald Trump, became chillingly clear this week. Trump took the stage at a Christian media convention on Thursday and let loose a string of unsettling remarks, laying bare his intentions for a Christian nationalist government if given another shot at the presidency. He outlined a number of proposals, including restricting transgender rights, including banning gender-affirming surgery, because he referred to it as child mutilation. His rhetoric escalated further as he declared, quote, "No one will be touching the cross of Christ under the Trump administration." In a bizarre comparison, Trump also likened his legal troubles to the crucifixion of Christ. Gesturing as if he were on a cross, he stated, "I take all these arrows for you. I'm being indicted for you." Trump's speech on Thursday echoed the blueprint outlined by Project 2025, which is a multi-million-dollar effort by Trump's allies aimed specifically at overhauling key government agencies in a potential second term. The project's mandate states that freedom is defined by God, not man. The radical plan calls for defunding the Department of Justice, dismantling the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security and Health and Human Services. It also aims to consolidate power by placing agencies like the Federal Communications Commission under direct presidential control. Imagine the effect that will have on government control of media by a man who's already strongly suggested that he will pull media licenses and he will sue and prosecute journalists. Project 2025 also proposes putting the Federal Trade Commission under direct presidential control, a boon to companies that want the freedom to merge and avoid regulations that are designed to protect consumers and a fair market. For months now, Project 2025 has also been vetting Trump loyalists to replace career civil servants throughout the government, including MAGA zealots Stephen Miller and Jeffrey Clark, the latter of whom is charged alongside Donald Trump in the Georgia racketeering case. When it comes to his next running mate, Axios reported in December that the vice presidential shortlist includes the likes of Tucker Carlson, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and the failed Arizona gubernatorial candidate Kari Lake, a chilling sign that loyalty is being prized above all else.
Dread. It's a lot.
No, this is so
It
scary.
is a lot to
So
take in.
scary.
It is.
I mean, just okay. All right. Gender affirming care. Once again, these things trickle down. Forget about transgender rights for a minute. We know that certain people are born with both sexes. So a parent has to choose, because that's what people do now. They tell you to choose. So now you're going to, and we don't know if they may say, hey, listen, you have to choose because one is interfering with the other. It may cause health issues, so on and so forth. They're going to start messing with journalism. That is the First Amendment, folks. Your First Amendment right says that you have freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom of religion. That does not mean you're free to practice Christianity, but nothing else. No, you're free to practice whatever religion or not practice a religion. And these things affect me. These things affect people in my family because I come from a half Islamic family. I have Muslims in my family. I'm an atheist. So that means that they have it their way. I'll end up somewhere. Solid doesn't run to church every Sunday, so they could deem her not Christian enough. So I'll be in the concentration. Hey, Solid, didn't go to church for 3 weeks, huh? Because that's what it turns into. And see, it's all fun and games as long as, oh, I'm white, I don't have to worry about it. But are you unmarried? Do you have an ectopic pregnancy and you now need emergency surgery to get that baby out of you? Are you somebody who works on Sunday so you can't go to church? Because that's just, and I'm not trying to be funny. I'm saying that these things can happen. And as Solid said, no one thought that Hitler would do what he did. No one thought that Idi Amin would do what he did. That's how these things happen. Oh, that's not going to happen. It's just a few things here and there. Look at who he has. Tucker Carlson, Carrie Lake. So I'm boiling.
Well, I do have to make a correction to Dread because I don't go to church every Sunday, but I do attend church services. I attend different ones because I like to go to different church services to hear what people are saying. So anyway,
you don't go every Sunday. You don't go every Sunday, Solid. But think about that. Think about that. Think about if it was punishable that every American had to attend church on Sunday.
But then again, it would be every American attending the church that they deemed was approved on some lists to go. It would be an approved church. It's not where I can go to, if I wanted to start a storefront church, I can go to my own Church of Solid and, whatever. To me, it would be an approved church that people would have to go. And Ace says states have begun to make it legal for a husband to prosecute their wife for being on birth control. My state is one of them. And again, guys, we're talking about how many TikToks would be taken down. How many people would lose their accounts? How many YouTube accounts would be taken down? Because see, I personally think that the people who the U.S. government is going after China so much for TikTok. It's not because, they're getting into people's privacy and whatever. That's not what they want. Control over it so they can control what people are saying, whatever. Right now, you post something on TikTok, okay, you get banned. You can't do this for 7 days. You can't do this. We're talking about literally your account. You're gone. You don't come back and redo it with something else. You personally, if you put another account up on TikTok, you very well could be persecuted and go to jail. This is what we are looking at. And you guys can say you guys are reading too much into it, Again, history has proven that that's not the case. That when you see something, literally, it's going to get worse. And like they say, they may not be coming after you today, but they'll be coming after you tomorrow.
Do you remember the movie? I'm sorry. Do you remember the movie? I think it was Fahrenheit 451, where in the dystopian future, having books were illegal. Like whole squads would, let's just say somebody gave a tip. Solid and Dread have books buried in their basement. And these squads would come and they would tell us, come out of your house, and they would burn out. I'm telling you, you have to look at this movie. It's called Fahrenheit 451. One was filmed, I believe, in the 60s or 70s. And then you had Michael B. Jordan in the updated one. And
it sounds familiar, but I'm not sure. But I mean, but again, how many movies have we seen? How many movies have we seen where people are just getting rid of people? They don't like the way you look. They don't like the way you pray. They don't like. And another thing, y'all, how many businesses are going to go out of business? How many people are going to lose their businesses because this is not an approved business? You're not doing this. You're not doing that. So it is really, really, really very, 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 very scary. So I want to play one more video. Here we go. We're going to start off with President Nixon and what he says.
Well, when the president does it, that means that it is not illegal.
It's a thing called Article 2. Nobody ever mentions Article 2.
More importantly, Article 2 allows me to do whatever I want.
Our common theme is to take down the administrative state, the bureaucracy, preparing to march into office and bring a new army of aligned, trained, and essentially weaponized conservatives ready to do battle against the deep state.
For the last 18 months, conservatives from every corner of the far-right establishment, from extremist think tanks to former members of the Trump administration to tenured academics, have been working both publicly and privately on a new project. The project's goal? To rescue the country from the grip of the radical left, uniting the conservative movement and the American people against elite rule and woke culture warriors. And the stakes are high. According to this group, if we fail, the fight for the very idea of America may be lost. Last month, this group of far-right leaders, known as Project 2025, released a 920-page manifesto titled Mandate for Leadership, the Conservative Promise. In it, the document's 35 different named authors, united and copyrighted by the Far-Right Heritage Foundation, lay out an explicit, comprehensive plan to completely overhaul the U.S. government from the inside out, with the ultimate goal of furthering far-right wedge issues and concentrating as much power as possible in the hands of the president. Project 2025 is touted as the ultimate solution to paving the way for the next conservative administration, which they believe will take power in January 2025.
Dread?
Okay. There are a few sections of Article 2, which is what I was looking at. And the framers of Article 2, they wanted it so the president did not have unlimited power. That's why certain laws or what have you, bills have to be passed with Congress or the Senate, so on and so forth. But if they have it their way under Project 2025, the president would have unlimited power. And we're not just talking about Trump, folks. We're talking about any conservative or Republican that comes after him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Solid here has a theory that Trump is going to try to keep the Trumps in power, from Don Jr. to Eric to Ivanka. He's going to try to, because that's what dictators do. They just pass that power down, 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 down as much as they can. This man has touted being friends with Kim Jong-un, right? He said Hitler wasn't so bad. And understand this, folks, that they would want to implement this if they could within the first 180 days of his presidency. He already said, they asked him, would you be a day one dictator? He said, yeah. I had a video up on TikTok where I spoke out about him saying he wanted to indemnify law enforcement. And see, the racist white people, what's the first thing they said? Oh, well, don't commit crimes and it won't be a problem. Really? That means that y'all can't sue them either. They won't be liable for what they do to y'all either. See,
but see, they will, because when it comes to a certain group of people, they will always get a pass somehow, some way. I will want to say what Anthony says, where he says all of his trigger words were violent, and they were. This man stood up there and said, we want to have an army of people. We want to have, just the words that he used, and then guys, I'm sorry, y'all can call me a bigot, a racist, whatever you want to. But in history, who are the most violent in history? Who has history proven to be the most violent, the most vicious? The ones who come up with these, just some of the things that have been done to Native Americans, to Black people, to Asians and stuff throughout history, just even to your own, how just violent you are. Now, are people in Africa, are they violent? Yep. There are African tribes and nations going after each other. You have, in North Korea, they're going after their own. In Russia, they're going after their own. So when you say things like Black on Black crime, everybody is going after their own. But you have one group of people who has just been just throughout, and people can say, no, that's not true. No, it is true. It is true. The fact that you have people who are saying that if Trump does not get into office, that it's going to be, we're going to take to the streets and we're going to start killing people. We're going to, just lock and load it. Well, other people are locked and loaded too, y'all, just so you know. But I'm just saying it just doesn't make any sense. And then A says violent sandwich made to play on words to incite things without being able to directly point fingers legally at him. But he didn't have to. As soon as he says we're going to have an army of people, we're going to have, seriously? Look at the whole, y'all. Look at the whole. And I'm not picking and choosing whatever. I'm looking at everything. And I'm looking at what is most important right now. What's most important is the fact that we have our freedoms. And I'm talking about just the freedom to walk down the street.
To exist.
To exist. No matter what lifestyle you're in, whatever. We may not agree with everything. That's fine. But, I still would like to be able to go to the store without somebody scanning me to see, if I'm supposed to be out this particular day or whatever.
Or stopping you and asking you, where you going? Where you supposed to be? Where do you work? Why are you out here?
That's already happening now, and it's going to get worse. So,
And as I spoke about legal immigration, you see, you have to understand how most politicians, I've used this word before, they are demagogues. They are going to play on the fears and emotions of their target demographic, specifically people who do not research, do not read, and just want to spread hate propaganda. Now, when we talk about legal immigration, we're not talking about people hopping over a wall or being smuggled through tunnels. No, we're talking about people who are coming in through legal ports of entry. They're letting, hey, this is who I am. This is my country of origin. They get a work visa. They start paying taxes or whatever the process is. They come here legally, establish themselves, and work to become an American citizen. I am for legal immigration, period. Because guess what? The very same people in these positions that are telling everybody to get out, you give them an ancestry test or 23andMe, your great-great-grandpappy wasn't born here, sir. Y'all invaded too. But again, we saw this last year when Ron DeSantis pushed all of the migrants out of Florida. And what happened? Do we remember how Florida was almost crippled? No one to do construction. No one to be out in that hot sun picking strawberries. The hotel industry suffered because it was mainly Hispanic people. And all of those people, by the way, were not illegal. They just didn't want the hassle. They just went somewhere else. So again, pay attention, because as Solid said, we don't all have to like each other. That's the wonderful thing about being an American. You can hate and not like somebody like the day is long. I don't like the way her, I don't like her hair.
As long as you keep your hands to yourself, you can hate me all you want to.
Right now,
go ahead. Go ahead.
Right now on TikTok, you don't like somebody's video, you can block them. You can keep scrolling. You can even say whatever you want to say. Now, if it's incitement or violence, you might get a CGV. I've gotten a few. But guess what? Freedom of speech. We have that. They let Project 2025 happens. You're not going to have that. You're going to see a lot of people disappearing because that's what starts to happen. And here's some homework for you guys. If you have not read it, read The Third Reich. Read anything about what happened at Auschwitz. And guess what I was reading an excerpt. A Holocaust survivor or the descendant of a Holocaust survivor. You know what she said? Her great-grandmother would never talk about what happened. But the first thing she said, the first people they came for were the teachers. Then they went for the books. Pay attention, folks. It's not a game. You don't have to like me because I'm black. I might not like you either. But as an American, we deserve freedom.
Let's talk about the 180-day playbook of Project 2025. This is what they say on their website. And this is, y'all can look it up, Project 2025. The time is short and conservatives need a plan. The project will create a playbook of actions to be taken in the first 180 days of the new administration to bring quick relief to Americans suffering from the left's devastating policies. Now, let's talk about devastating policies for a moment, okay? Ever since Biden got into office, the conservative right in the House has not spent time doing anything to help this country along, the people that they care about. Only thing they've done is cause chaos and confusion, mostly amongst themselves, and you look ridiculous. And you have people like Marjorie Taylor Greene running around spouting whatever. But you were put in office. You were supposed to take an oath that you were supposed to, help this country and defend democracy. So the people who have been making devastating policies, especially the right that turning back civil rights, the right to vote, Roe versus Wade, just all these plans that they have. Let's talk about devastating policies and the hypocrisy of it all and the indoctrination of your own people. Now, The fourth pillar of Project 2025 is R, meaning their plan, 180-day transition playbook. It includes a comprehensive, concrete transition plan for each federal agency. Only through the implementation of certain action plans at each agency will the next conservative presidential administration be successful. So they're not just talking about Trump. They're talking about whoever is in office, whatever conservative is in office. Pillar 4 will provide the next president a roadmap for doing just that. And they want you to read a book. Mandate for Leadership, The Conservative Promise. The 2025 Presidential Transition Project paves the way for an effective conservative administration based on four pillars: a policy agenda, presidential personal database. We're going to talk about that. Presidential Administrative Academy and playbook for the first 180 days of the next administration. Let's talk about the presidential personnel database. So he's going to have his own little group of people that he can say, okay, you're going to go here, you're going to go there. First of all, you're going to take so many people who have jobs out of work. Okay, but let's go beyond that. Okay, so you kick all these people out. So you're going to put your little minions in, your loyalists in, who are basically going to kiss your butt and kiss your ring, and will probably have to take an oath to whomever is sitting in the White House. Oh, and by the way, speaking of the White House, we know whose pictures are probably going to be not taken down, but burned.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So these are things. These are things that you have to think about. And like I said, I'm still not worried about this over here. I'm worried about this right here, because this affects me directly. This affects, our children directly.
I think that we should also, and this isn't Project 2025, but if you need another reason not to vote for Trump, I think y'all need to remember that he wanted to take us out of NATO. NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, it protects us from attacks from other countries. Now, we know that the Americans, that the US of A, we walk around here beating our chest like we're the best, like we are the best country on earth. Let Trump have his way and remove us from NATO. You'll see how all the rest of those countries feel about us. And see, once again, it's always a snowball effect. So while he's trying to put his loyalists in there who probably know very little about the government and who will trample on the Constitution, who will trample on our rights, the other countries is going to be like, hey, they ain't in NATO no more. Come on. Think about that.
But it goes beyond the whole NATO thing. I mean, it goes beyond, whether we're in NATO or not. I mean, just look at just this country, just dealing with our country, period. The fact that,
they are a danger to this country.
I mean, this is what I'm saying. I mean, it's like, forget that the other countries will say, they've been trying to find a reason to come attack us for years, but beyond that, it's just like, just look at what you're doing. Look at what is this the country that you really want your children to grow up in? And I am going to ask this, in World War II, and, they wanted the blonde hair, blue-eyed people, whatever. Do you really want your children walking down a street, whether or not they can have all the advantages in the world and they can do this and they're free and everything like that? Are they really, if they're walking down the street and they see armed soldiers at a corner? I mean, is that really, you may have your entitlement, but at what cost? at what cost are you having your entitlement? Because everything you do comes with a price.
Yes.
You know, and they said that our goal, again, I'm reading this directly from what they're saying. Our goal is to assemble an army of aligned, vetted, trained, and prepared conservatives to go to work on day one to deconstruct the administrative state. They're putting it out there, y'all. They are putting it out there for the world to see. And believe me, the world is seeing this.
And no one can act surprised. I don't want it. I hope by some stroke of, I don't care, whoever's up there, I hope that this does not happen, because no one will be able to say that they did not know. I heard about Project 2025 in 2023. You can go on TikTok. There are, it's very long videos. I'm not going to hold you. Very long videos breaking it down, just as Solid did. What is it called again? The Heritage.
The Heritage Foundation.
Thank you. They have a website. Project 2025. They got Trump's face on it. So this is for everybody that's going to come in these comments, because I'm pretty sure we're going to get them.
Well, people are watching, but they're not commenting, and it's interesting.
Fine. That's fine.
You know,
push us up in the algorithm, because again, while you're happy that my freedoms are being taken, so are yours. And as Solid said, do you want your children to grow up this way? Go read up about what happened in when it was apartheid in Africa. What was that? South Africa, Solid? Apartheid? Right.
Apartheid.
When not grown people, kids, teenagers, 15 and 16-year-olds, they're walking around, they just see militia. I don't care who you are. You shouldn't want your child to grow up that way. You shouldn't want your child to grow up thinking that it's okay to just trample on everyone else's freedoms because they don't agree with yours. You don't have, listen, you don't like gay people, don't marry one. You don't like abortion, don't get one. But these are the people who are in charge of our lives. They're worried about who someone marries, if someone's pregnant, but they're not worried about the fact that we don't have universal health care. We have Obamacare. That's a start. We're paying taxes. People can't afford to live, but this is what they're worried about. They're worried about pushing a Christian ideology when this is supposed to be a democracy where everyone, you can be a Catholic, a Protestant, a Jew, a Muslim, a Hindu, an atheist, whatever. You could pray to the sun if you like, but nobody should be. And that's where this is all. Remember, this is all in regards to church and state. Church and state are supposed to be separate. Laws are not supposed to be made on the basis of religion. And that's what they're trying to do. That's what it all boils down to. So if you like, if they're going to be going by the Bible and religious stuff, I guess you guys better put the bacon back, and no more seafood boils for you heathens either.
It's just really, I mean, it's just.
And they know that people don't read.
I want to tell you about the advisory board.
Okay.
A broad coalition of over 100 conservative organizations has come together to form the Project Pillars, which were the 4 that I mentioned previously.
Right.
Project 25, organized by the Heritage Foundation, is a movement-wide effort guided by the conservative cause to address and reform the failings of big government and an undemocratic administrative state. The opinions of Project 2025 and the Heritage Foundation do not necessarily represent the opinions of everyone on its advisory board partners. Now, The undemocratic administrative state. Wouldn't you be an undemocratic administrative state if you started doing all of this stuff? Wouldn't you be the undemocratic administrative state? This deep state that you're talking about? Wouldn't you then become that deep state?
Yes.
We are turning into the final solution. And again, y'all, I just look at the whole because I can remember some stuff that has happened in history that I have seen firsthand. And it's pretty sad. It's pretty sad. I have had things that have happened in my own family that I look back, and it just makes you just want to get up and go pick something up and just, when you're of a privileged group, and I'm not talking about privilege where you have money or you have a house to live in or something like that. I'm talking about when you're of a privileged group just because of the color of your skin, because you were born a certain way. You will never, ever experience some things that other people have to experience. So if you're white and if you're gay, you're not going to experience the same thing that a Black gay person may experience. If you're heterosexual and you're white, you're not going to experience the same thing that a heterosexual Black person or Latino or Asian person will. You're just not. Project 2025 is the conservative white right to the final solution of this country. And if you guys don't think that it's possible, especially I'm talking to Black people right now, the ones who want to vote for Trump, the ones who want to, oh, this didn't happen or this didn't happen. And one thing that I've noticed about Black voters who are against liberal people, you happen to be young, and I'm going to start with the millennials. I know that's going to rub some people the wrong way, but when you look at the history of this country and the people who have really experienced a lot of the things, and I'm not talking about the Breonna Taylors and stuff. Yeah, that happened, whatever. But before that, to really experience some stuff, Breonna Taylor and George Floyd, that was child's play. And I say that from experience. I say that from what I've seen. I say that because I'm glad that I am one of those people who did go to the elders to get the stories and pass them down. Y'all need to think twice before you all say you're not going to vote or you're not in this fight or whatever. Because people like Clarence Thomas and Tim Scott, just remember one thing. You may act white, but you're not white. To them, you're still the N-word. And that's my last word. Dred?
My last word is very simple. They always say if you want to hide something from a Black person, put it in a book. That's not just true with Black people. That's true with everybody now. Because Project 2025 is over 900 pages long.
I'm going to read every damn page. I'm going to read every last page.
If you factor in the time that you spend on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, just reading nonsense, you can read those 900 pages. I've read 900 pages in a week, just nonstop reading. But see, they're going to put it right in front of you. Because right now they're keeping us fighting about race, gender, who gets married to who, gas prices. And the eye in the sky is watching us all. It's like the puppet. Anybody read The Godfather? They're the puppeteers. And they're playing every one of us like a fiddle. And while y'all are on the Friendly Differences podcast, calling us stupid, ignorant, uneducated welfare queens, yeah, they coming for you too. And what's even sadder is that some of those people look just like me and Solid. They think somehow if they end up on the right, that they'll be all right. And I assure you, you won't. Because in the end, when it comes down to it, they got a tree waiting for every last one of us.
And history has proven it. So
and that's my final word.
Well, everyone, thank you for coming today. We have our fun show, but this was too important to pass up. So until next time, y'all. Hold on, I got to get Ace's comment in here. Okay.
I done did my piece and my Black Power sign.
All right. So until next time, y'all, we're going to go out now. Peace.